In this example, we're calculating the debt to equity ratios for these two companies. And then we have a question, which company has the riskier finance structure? So which one has the higher debt to equity? When we're looking at the debt to equity, we want that number to be below 1 because that means that we're not carrying too much debt versus our equity. We would also usually in a full analysis look at the debt to assets ratio also because we want to make sure that we have enough money available to pay our liabilities and that we aren't carrying too much debt as an organization. When we calculate the debt to equity ratio, we take liabilities divided by equity. So when we look at which company has the riskier financing structure, that would be the second company, or Bryan Company. Their debt to equity ratio is over 3. So that's actually a very concerning debt to equity ratio. This company has a lot of debt that they're currently carrying. And this would be a concern for anyone that was looking at investing in them or anyone that they had gone to borrow money for any reason. Our last example is looking at bond pricing systems. So in bond pricing, bonds either trade at their par value or a premium or a discount. If their contract rate is higher than the market rate, then they are trading at a premium. If their contract rate is lower than the market rate, then they are trading at a discount. When we look at premium and discounts of bond pricing, we use the present value calculations of those bonds. So we have to use our present value table. So first we can put in the amount of the bonds and the interest payment on those bonds. So the contract rate is 12%, and we have semi-annual interest payments. So we would take 90,000 times 12% times half a year for our semi-annual payments to get our bond interest. Now we're going to find the table value on the present value tables in order to calculate the present value of the bond to determine how much our premium is. When we're looking at the present value tables, we're going to look at, this is a 5-year bond, and first we look at the present value of $1. So the present value of $1, 5 years, 10%, is 0.621. So we're going to use 0.621 in the table value. Then for the interest payments, the interest calculation is an annuity payment. We pay that twice a year for 5 years. That's a total of 10 payments. So it's 10% interest twice a year. Because it's twice a year, we're going to take that interest divided by 2 for our annuity factor. So we have 10 periods that interest is being paid and a 5% interest rate. So we look here on our table and get a factor of 7.7217. Put that 7.217. Then we take our factor times the amount to calculate our present value. We add that together, and the current price of our bond is $97,587.18. So when we record the journal entry for that, we receive cash of $97,587. We'll round for this. And then we have a bond payable and a premium on bonds. So our bond payable is $90,000 and our bond premium is $7,587. If our bond market rate and contract rate are exactly the same, then the bonds trade at par value or their face value. So when we issue that bond, we would receive cash of $90,000 and record a bond payable of $90,000. If our market rate is 14% and our contract rate is 12%, we are trading those bonds at a discount. So when we're looking at a discount, we have to go back to our present value tables. So we have the amount is $90,000. We already calculated our semi-annual interest is $5,400. So now we're looking at a factor for 14%. So this table that I got online only goes to 10%. So I'm going to tell you what the factor for 14% is 0.0583. For interest, again, we're going to go to that annuity table. There are 10 payments because it's 5 semi-annual payments. And then we're going to take half of that 14% interest because we're paying semi-annually. So 10 payments at 7% interest, we have a factor of 7.0236. So we take our amounts times the factor from the table. Oh, I put an extra 0 in here. There we go. Now we receive cash of $83,674. We have a bond payable of $90,000. And we have a discount on bonds for the difference between the two, $6,326. And that is how you calculate how much the price of a bond is based on the market rate at the date of issuance.